everyone, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills, and today we seem to be experiencing a lot more issues again. Mark informed me a few days ago that the agricultural minister of the Netherlands had resigned. See, the Dutch farmers are still protesting, even though we've heard very, very little in regards to their situation. That is an ongoing situation. It has not been resolved. They are still protesting, and there are still difficulties there. So the repercussions of that certainly will travel far and wide. Canada has its own issues with the farmers. Rather than a stick, they have been handed a carrot. So whether or not they would choose to comply and how they will comply with what Ottawa wants is something else. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Now, we've recently had an election of the Conservative leadership, and the young man that was elected into that position is the third one in very little time at all. The last two certainly did not last any time. But this young man has been known to take the government to task on many issues and seems not to be afraid to stand up to them on just about every issue that a lot of Canadians are concerned about, and the farmers being one of them. Passport office not working properly is another. There is a number of them. And I'm not going to go into it, and I really don't want to delve into politics too much, but there is a change on the horizon in that area, and hopefully it is for the better. Hopefully that means that there would be changes. Certainly this young man is not in power. He is just the opposition, but he's never been afraid to hold him to task, and now he is the leader of the Conservative Party and will probably do a very good job of taking the government to task on their policies. Okay? The economic situation in Canada is not great. Interest rates have been rising, and that has definitely killed or cooled off a very hot housing market, a housing market that has been hot for way too long. Prices have gone tremendously high. So there's a very serious risk of 25% decline in prices over the next year or so. And we'll just have to see what happens there. I expect a lot of people to be hurt by that situation as well. So is there a recession coming? Oh yes, it's here. It's here. And now I also hear that from one of my subscribers that there is a potential for a train strike in the US, and she said she didn't know whether it affected Canada. And I looked it up, and sure enough, of course, it affects Canada. Canada and the US are probably each other's largest trading partners. We know that the US is certainly Canada's largest trading partner. Okay, so that there is a potential for a rail strike to start on Friday. And from what I understand, both the White House and a lot of business groups are trying to apply pressure to end the dispute before the strike deadline of Friday. And should they not be able to do so, then we're headed for another supply chain massacre. Apparently somebody stated on Monday that a national rail strike would be an economic disaster, freezing the flow of goods, emptying shelves, shuttering workplaces, and raising prices for families and business alike. So here we go again. If it isn't one issue driving economic collapse, it seems to be another. So whether they resolve this before Friday or not, it is just another one of those nails in the coffin to the economic system if they don't resolve this. So I hope that many of you have been putting food away, stocking up what other things you may need in the next 6 months to a year. I think each one of us has different needs and different requirements, but we never know where the next hit is going to come from, whether in Canada or the US, and I don't see how it's going to be any different. I can't see how that cannot affect Canada as well as the US. So we'll see what happens. Me, I'm getting just a little bit tired of canning, understandably. But with September comes apple season, so I'm not going to stop there, because apples are one of my favorite things to put up. I like a lot of dehydrated apples and applesauce and apple vinegar and you name it. There's just so many things you can do with apples and very little waste in the process. So I'm definitely going to be working on that and hopefully dealing with the balance of my tomatoes and potatoes very soon. I do have more than enough wheat and other dry goods put away. I think I'll be good for a year, 2 years. Hard to say. I think the only place I may be short is in some meat products, but probably should look at filling up a little freezer again, but we'll see what happens there. Things aren't getting any better very quickly. That's a given. It seems as though when one thing seems to be resolved, there's something else, and the big C isn't over and done with yet, although, I don't know, I for one probably should have caught it 10 times over, and I don't think I've caught it once. So, grateful? Yes, I'm grateful. I have much to be grateful for. I have been stocking up for the last 2 years. I think my family will be safe. I think I can certainly help out my children should they come to issues. I don't know how bad the shortages are going to be here, but I do know that prices are going to go through the roof no matter what you say. House prices are going to fall, and that is going to cause a lot of people to lose their homes because interest rates are going up and they won't be able to afford the payments. That's a given. That will happen. Over the next year, I expect to see a lot of foreclosures or people selling their homes at distressed prices in order to get out from under. I've seen that happen before, many years ago. The signs are pretty plain. When the average person can't afford the average house, a correction is going to happen, and it's happening now. Unfortunately, there are too many other issues happening at the same time. Are we headed for a depression? It's an unknown at this point, but a recession could be very severe and long-lasting. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Maybe you're just as tired of putting food up as I am, but I recommend that you still do what you can while you can. We don't know how long this nonsense is going to last. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.